Good afternoon, Colin here with Techout, and today we're going to be talking about everything wrong with the iPhone 14 Pro series. This is pretty much going to apply to the iPhone 14 or the iPhone 14 Pro and the 14 Pro Max. I've been using my iPhone all weekend, so it's about 48 hours in, a little bit more actually, because I did pick it up early in the morning from the Apple Store on Friday. And I just want to go over some of the gripes that I have with it. Not going to be like a rant video or anything like that, but just some things that over my 48 hours I think should be improved on, and things that I think a lot of people have agreed with that should be improved on based on the forums that I've been reading over the past couple of days. So it's going to be mainly related to the new features like the always on display, the dynamic island, a lot of stuff like that. So first things first is the always on display. There it is right there. If you don't have a 14 Pro or Pro Max, that's what it looks like. It's basically just a dimmed down version of your lock screen that refreshes at 1 Hz, so it saves a battery, but it's not like your Android, sorry, hit the camera, not like your Android lock screens, which look similar like this, where it's just time and some notification icons and stuff like that. Very simple. Doesn't use really any battery at all, because it's just, you know, a few pixels lit up, not the whole screen. Really the only way to save a lot of battery on the 14 Pros is to set a background with a black image, because those pixels are off, so it saves more power. That being said, the biggest issue with the always on display is there are no settings for it. The only setting we have is the always on toggle to turn it on or off. You can't set a custom image, you can't set a custom, anything on the always on display. It's just going based on what you have on your lock screen. So whatever you have for your lock screen, that's what your always on display is going to be. I wish that you could maybe take away the image and have a separate setting for your always on display background like you can for the lock and the home screen. Maybe have a third one in there for the always on display. That would be nice. Another thing that would be nice would be a schedule, so you can turn this off at night. Now if you do set a sleep focus, it will turn off at night with the sleep focus on. It will also turn off if you have a timer set and it learns your usage and it thinks you're sleeping or not using it. It will turn off in some instances like that. But that's about it. It'll turn off when it's plugged into CarPlay, or if you have an Apple Watch on and you walk out of the room, it will turn off then if it knows you basically can't see your phone. So there are a few times where it'll turn off to save battery and stuff like that. It also does have auto brightness, so it will adjust to the ambient lighting conditions to make it easier to see or not as bright in a dark room. Now I have found that if you're outside in the sunlight, it does stay pretty bright, so if you're outside a lot, it's probably going to use a lot of battery life, because I was outside and I had my screen off like this with the always on display, and I tapped to wake it up, and I basically couldn't see the change in brightness because it was already almost like the screen was on all the way, but it wasn't. It was still on the always on display. So that is that. The other thing is the dynamic island, which you can't really see with my wallpaper up here, but there it is, a little pill icon or pill up there with the camera and everything in it for Face ID. There aren't really anything that take advantage of it other than like your sleep wake. You can see up there, that's what it looks like. Or if we start a screen recording, that stuff will be up there, so your countdown, and then if you want to stop it, you can just go like that and it will save. So certain stuff like that, or if we play music, I'm going to turn the volume down so we don't get copyright, that goes up there. You can tap it to go back into the app, or if you long press on it right there, you get the little widget. If you pause it right here, it will stay up there for about 5 seconds, and you can see it kind of slowly shrinks down and then it's gone. So you have to open back up the app to bring that back up. That's all fine. I don't really mind any of that. When you plug the phone in, it says charging up there. It kind of expands and says charging with a little icon over here and the percentage over here. So that's pretty cool. I like what it does. I just don't think it does enough. And if I go to Twitter here, this is kind of what I want to see. with notifications and stuff like that, because notifications are just your same old iOS notifications. They just drop below the dynamic island. They don't take advantage of it whatsoever. So something like that would be pretty cool. Parker here on Twitter has a lot of cool concepts that he's tweeted out for different ways that it could be taken advantage of with like Apple Pay and notifications, a bunch of different stuff. Some people are saying that they don't like that because you have to reach way up to the top to interact with it, but the notifications are basically right up here anyway, so I don't really see how that's much different. Things like quick notes, permission to paste, because every time you go to paste something it asks if you want to paste it. So stuff like that, as well as I think there was one for Siri as well. So that would be kind of nice because Siri is still just down there on the bottom. They could easily move that up there to the top. And I think it would be less in the way if you're using an app or something like that up on the top of the screen. Everything else has been pretty good. I haven't really had any battery life issues. I know a lot of people have been complaining about that with the always on display, using a lot of battery, which, I mean, I guess I can see that depending on your background image, but I use a pretty dark one anyway, so it really hasn't been an issue for me. There have been a couple camera bugs as well, with the optical image stabilization shaking, vibrating, making noise. I think that's mostly related to third-party apps that haven't been updated yet. But other than that, not really seeing any issues with that. I haven't experienced that myself, but I have seen some videos online where it makes a rattling noise and stuff like that. But other than that, it's been a pretty good phone. I did have an issue with the phone. The AOD turned off and it was unresponsive and I had to force reboot it. That was about 12 hours after I got it and set it up. A lot of people are saying that there's a bug that will cause it to become unresponsive after a restore, so I don't know if it was part of that and it just became unresponsive. It was really delayed, or if it was another issue, but it hasn't happened since. So that's been pretty good. But those are just some of the gripes and issues that I've had with the iPhone 14 Pro Max, basically related to the always on display and dynamic island, and things that I think can be improved on in future software updates. I'm Colin with Techout. Don't forget to comment, rate, and subscribe. And as always, have a great day.